Hello everyone and welcome to episode 11 of Design Underground. I'm Rob, Designopotamus Irving.
Eric Wingman Peterson.
And we're here to talk to you about tools and gadgets. Now, we talked about this a little bit before, but we recently ran into a little bit of a problem. And we're going to talk to you about how we solved that problem. And, well, follow up on a meeting that we had on Wednesday morning with the Underground.
Yeah.
Those guys got to come in, watch us talk about this, pipe in a few suggestions here and there.
That's true. The Underground is kind of a neat little deal for people to watch live design meetings, and we chat with them in the chat room, and sometimes they have some pretty good suggestions that we didn't think of.
So they saw the process happen. You're going to see the results.
Yay!
So let's first talk a little bit about what the problem we were solving was. And the problem we ran into is Smitty. You've met him before on this show.
He's not the problem. Smitty is not the problem.
Smitty brought the problem to us.
There you go.
Smitty, not the problem.
Yeah.
So he came down with his HUD diagram, and he was looking at the tools and the tool display window, and he's like, I've got too many icons to put it below this. I don't know what to do.
There's a point in game design, right, where there's TMI. There's too much information on screen. Right, it's information diarrhea, and you can't discern what's important for you.
So we talked it over for a while, and we already had the idea of, for specific ships like the Wasp and the Typhoon, and not the Wasp, the Typhoon and the Predator, brain. Typhoon, Predator, and the Panzer all have their own like specialty tools. We call them tools. They land on the tools menu that are abilities that are built into the ship. They're not something you could hand off to somebody else.
They can't pick up, can't do.
Right.
Yeah.
So we already have this idea that some ships have this thing that's attached to them. And in order to shrink down the number of tools and also to increase the specialization of the ships, which is very important, we decided that we'd just further that idea and make some of the tools permanent attachments to some of the ships.
Right.
So now we have what we call general tools and specialty tools.
Right.
So look at that, universal tools, and
Universal
specialty
tools.
tools. I like the word universal. Generals,
Yeah.
universal. I like universal better actually. So what we're doing now is there are going to be a handful of tools that everyone can use.
Right.
And so if you're carrying one and you get exploded,
And there'll be pickups for
it'll
them.
drop.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, it'll drop. Everyone will have a mining laser. That's just the way the game goes.
Yep.
But that can be powered up if you pick up other mining lasers, just like the laser does.
Yep.
And then there are a couple others that are going to be generally shared, but start out on specific ships. Then you get the specialty tools, and almost every single ship has its own specialty tool.
Right.
But not all of them do.
Right.
The torch, no. It spends all of its balance points on just being awesome.
Well, yeah, the torch is, sort of the general purpose, really bad to the bone, prequel to the Pyro GX.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Prequel, Pyro GX. And then the Wasp is the other one that doesn't have its specialty tool.
Right, and that's the ship that everybody gets. It's general purpose as well.
So it still gives you some of the fun to play with the tech trees and everything, but it doesn't start out with its own specialty. It's a generalist by nature, so that's an okay thing. So that means we only have 4 slots taken up under the HUD for those 4 tools, and then everything else is specialty, and that only takes 1 slot because each ship has one thing in that area, if anything.
Right.
So we solved that problem. Well, it turned out when we got to the gadgets that the problem was even worse.
The problem multiplied. It was a multiplication problem.
There are a lot of gadgets. So we decided to sit down on Wednesday and, well, with the Underground witnessing, and talk about how to do the same sort of specialization with gadgets that we did with the tools.
Right.
Because it was a good solution. It was an elegant solution. And again, we're really all about the whole idea of the specialization of the ships being very important.
Plus this will all be worked out with you guys playing the game. Once, the idea, we think we've solved it now. Still going to put it in play and see how that works.
So.
And and then we'll be balancing it, and you guys out there will be testing it, saying, this works great, or maybe not. And so just get that out there that you'll be playing it soon.
Soon.
TM trademark soon.
Yes. So, Mike, why don't we flip over to the actual list of the gadgets here, and we'll talk about how those went the same route.
There we go.
Okay. So, again, universal and specialty. And what we're going to do with the specialty gadgets is they're going to be allocated to specific ships. Now, in this case, there are actually multiple ships that can carry them. So you may see the same 2 on different ships, but You'll have a maximum of 2 specialty gadgets, and there will be hard points for these, so there will be a limited number you can carry.
Right.
They will attach to the ship, and you'll see them. So you won't be able to pick up 20 of these, unlike the universals, which will work just like the countermeasures did in Descent. You have a set capacity, and you can carry that capacity of all of the universal gadgets at the same time. So you can carry what?
4 of this, 5 of this,
Yeah.
3 of that, 2 of this, that kind of thing. And
So-
that'll also be something we have to balance.
Absolutely, absolutely, and those sizes also scale with things like tech trees. Different ships have different gadget capacities.
Right.
I know that the Panzer is the super gadget vehicle, so it's going to be just dropping stuff
Pretty
behind
cool.
it left and right.
I like that. I like that ship.
The Panzer's going to be pretty interesting.
It's the shiznits.
It's not going to win any races.
No, but it will be very good to have on your team if you're trying to take over a section or get down a hallway that's possibly.
Or protect your miners, or
Yeah,
protect your
absolutely.
healer, or protect all of it.
Yeah.
Very, very useful ship. So if you look at
kind of a tank.
Yeah, it is kind of. It's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
why
like
it's
a
called the
tank.
Panzer.
Weird, isn't it? What a coincidence.
That's for you, Sinalaya.
So the universal gadgets are, as I said, just like the countermeasures from Descent. They include, this list is actually not up to date. This is the slideshow that we went to the meeting with.
Yeah.
It would include the proximity bombs and smart mines. Those are the standard ones. Decoys, flares are going to be on that list.
Well,
so for lighting purposes.
Sure.
And then the laser grid. The deployable turret moved into the specialty section.
gadgets. Yep.
Yes. And so what we did with these specialty gadgets is we took them and we parceled them out to ships that made sense with these gadgets. For instance, the miner bots obviously go with the auger.
Sure.
It's not like you're going to be running around doing extra mining with your warlog. That doesn't make as much sense.
No. It takes away from the coolness of a ship being better at something than others.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an archetype.
So the auger is just the best at mining. End of story, and that's great. The Wasp actually has a specialty gadget. It got the deployable turret.
You should talk a little bit about mining too, is in the fact that getting through walls and finding secret areas and secret rooms and stuff is not as simple as just firing into the wall like it was in the original. You're actually going to have to mine or get through a wall to get there in some cases, in most cases, and that's sort of the auger specialty.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of the last week playing
You
with
have
that
been.
stuff.
You've been those blocks.
Oh, the blocks.
I think by the time this airs, they'll have seen that on Fridays, Wingman's Hangar, where they see you bumping into the walls. So Rob's doing a great job. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail a little bit there. But that's just wanted to kind of point out the one of the benefits of when you call it mining, it's drilling, it's mining.
Yeah.
It's more than just mining.
Mining is a catch-all for removing blocks that are in your way or grabbing power-ups that are in there.
Absolutely,
yes.
right.
So we use a universal term for that, but yes, it has multiple functions.
Multiple meanings, right.
Yeah. So what was you called it drilling and mining before?
Yeah, I was trying to discern between the difference between drilling, where you drill in and knock out, and go into a secret room, but versus knocking bits out and then collecting the power-ups. But it's the same exact
same mechanic. Yep.
It just we needed to come to, it's the same thing. It just needed to come up with a term that worked for everyone here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Ore Watchers go with the...
Which we're renaming, by the way.
Goliath. Oh, yeah, that's one of the bots we're hoping somebody chooses to rename, because boy, do I hate that name.
Yeah.
I think everyone hates that name.
Ore Watchers.
Hey, when you're doing design docs, sometimes your creativity
Listen,
just
that's perfectly fine, because it says what it does, right? And
Exactly.
That's important, and so we can name it and add lore to it later, but we need to get the gameplay mechanic first.
And the hunters are only for enemies. They're the bots that go and hunt down your bots. Ha!
Yeah, they're
Those are going to
crazy.
be cool. So you send your little miner out to do some mining, and along comes a little hunter and blows them up.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Scramblers are more of a scouting function, so they go with the Predator. And
The scramblers will also stop the sensors from being able to broadcast or let people know what's going on. So it's a countermeasure.
It's the counter to the Ore Watcher and the
Everything's got a
Sentinel.
push and a pull, right? Everything's got a counter to everything else.
Sentinel is also Predator, I believe. That's your remote camera, so you can drop those, and everyone on your team can see what that camera sees and can cycle to that camera.
Unless, of course,
There's a Scrambler
there's a
sitting there.
scrambler. And you can blow these up, too. These
Yes,
are also
all these are
targetable.
indestructible, right. All the specialties are. In fact,
And
the
some ships
engineer
can come steal them.
Yeah, the engineer can deactivate them.
Right. The engineer, otherwise known as
The
Shaman?
Warlock.
Shaman.
Warlock.
No, Warlock. Shaman's the one that heals.
I had it.
You were right.
shaman, medic.
It's funny because
Warlock,
right
engineer.
now all these things are on paper. Until you actually get in there and physically play them and use the abilities, which should be in the next week or two.
I sure hope we're going to start seeing a lot of this coming together in the next week or so.
Yeah, me too.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand right now. Smitty's getting back to putting these things on the HUD, getting the icons just right, so they are distinguishable really quickly.
And not crowding the HUD too much.
Yeah, we've thinned it out a little bit. We're going to continue to try to make it as friendly as possible. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And we'll keep bringing you the results of our underground meetings. So join up. It's
Right
loads
on.
of fun.
Yeah, you can be part of the underground, and then I think we have the advisory board coming up here in a couple weeks. Now that's a little deeper. That's a little deeper dive.
Yeah.
They actually get to discuss, be part of the design meeting.
They're
process.
part of the meeting.
Yeah,
itself,
they're like
yeah.
team members more than anything else. But the underground's a good place to be. Come hang out and see what's going on, and we'll always broadcast or show a little bit of what went on. We'll give you the highlights. I think we did about 2 minutes of that day, but the meeting's generally about an hour long.
And we'll keep letting you know on here where things are going.
Right.
So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
On Design Underground.